And another tool is the energy price. So 2016 and 2017. So you can see, fortunately, the data table have the same format of same number of columns. So that makes it easy, and we can merge or combine the data tables. So your task will be combine the two energy table, so in here, and also combine those two energy price table in 2016, 2017. And later, and with the energy price table, and you can see we have different energy output by different fuel type. So we have coal, gas, and if you see the output of your assignment one, and you know you need to transpose the column to row, and in that case, we can have the coal, gas, hydrogen, nuclear, and so in top as the first row. Right? So this is certain task we need to complete. So now let me show you how to use Excel Power Query to complete this assignment. So to use a Power Query, and you can simply open a blank Excel file. So Power Query function is under Data. So when you click Data, and you can see the leftmost and Get Data, and there's a Power Query options. So to get the data import to Excel, and you can launch Power Query Editor. So we are going to use a Power Query Editor and to complete all the process and to complete assignment. So when you have the Power Query Editor open, and you can see the second one, so in Get Data. So you click, and we are going to get data as a text or CSV. So let me get the first two data. So I'm going to get the energy price data, 2016. So click Next. And here you can have a quick screen of the data and look like everything is fine. So nothing mess up in this process. So we can simply click Create. So we get this data table. So we have 4 tables to import it to Power Query. So we will repeat the step. And I'm going to get the second one, 2017. Click Next. And click Create. And then it's for the two energy table, 2017, 2017. Okay, Create. And the last one, 2017, and Get Data. Great. So now we have 4 tables in our Power Query Editor. So remember, for the two price table, and we need to combine those 2 tables. So when you click the first table, which is the 2016 price table, and you can see on the top, on the left, so this is a combined feature available. So for the 2 table, and we merge together, and so that is we combine 2 table and vertically, like one after another. So when you click Combine, and you can see there's 2 options. So one is merge. So merge actually in SQL or other programming language, that means join. So you join 2 tables horizontally. And if we want to combine table vertically, one after another, and we use a appending. So here we have 2 tables. So we are going to add, so current table is 2016 table. So that's why, so we are going to append 2017 table. So we click OK. And we have data. So if you track data to the last row, you will see they contain both 2017 and 2016. And when you look at the data, and you can see the date. So actually, it's not at date level. It's actually at hour level. You see, for example, January 1st. So 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, so on and so on. So, but for our assignment, we wanted to aggregate the data to daily level. You see, it's 1 data point for each day. So that's why we have 731 data points. So 1 for each day. So apparently, we need to aggregate the data to daily level rather than currently hourly level. So in that case, and one thing we can do is to convert this data field, the date, and into date rather than date time, means date and hour. So what we can do is go to the top, and you can see this. We can work with the date type. So here, I simply click the data type, and I'm going to choose date. So once you click date, and you can see now the data type and convert to date. So all the data points, if it belong to January 1st, and we'll show in only 1/1/2016. So I have this available for our next step to aggregate data. So for each date, we have different hour. You can see here, we have different hour. And we also have different node. So the node is different location in the United States. So different location, they have different energy price. So I want to aggregate data to the daily level, regardless hour and the location of the energy price. So that means I'm going to aggregate data simply at the date level. So for that one, and you need to go to transform on the top. So under transform, you see group by. So if you're familiar with the SQL, so you know group by is one you can aggregate data your different function and based on a specific one or multiple field. So similarly here in Excel Power Query, and we also have group by. So you want to aggregate and you click group by. And here we are going to group by date. So this one we just convert to date, remember. And then we are going to aggregate the energy price to daily average. So I'm going to name it AVG, average price. And operation, so we are going to use the average. So, and the column, we are going to apply the calculation or aggregation, and will be here, the total LMPRT. So that means the energy price real time. So here you click OK, and that will be your output for the energy price. So now we just aggregate the energy price from hourly, from belong to different node, and to aggregate to daily level and have a daily average. So we have that table ready, and you can see on the right, and we actually have different steps. So that's also another benefit use Power Query. So in future, if you want to revisit and this process, you actually can go to different step and click and modify, and then you don't need to start over. So when we work with Excel, you know, so every step just a simple click, and Excel will not remember all these clicks. So if you want to revisit and to make certain change, and over time you need to go back, start over, and go to the right step and make the change, and moving forward. But with Power Query, you actually can revisit. You click any step, and you can make necessary change. So now I have this table available. So I don't want to mislead me later. So I'm going to rename it. So rename it is a price table. So then that I will remember. It will be ready for my later process. So now we finish the price table, and now we need to work with the energy table, the field type table. So here we are going to follow similar steps. So first, we need to merge the two tables and combine 2016 and 2017. So that function is under home. And we click 2016, we click combine, we click append. And here we simply combine with the 2017 table. And click OK, and we get the two tables combined. So for the date type beginning, and we go to data type. Right? So here, and instead of the date and the time, we want to convert in the format, just the date. So we have a similar, so here, so in December 1st, so to make it easy, let me order and make it from January 1st. So now next step is a similar thing. We want to aggregate the data. So here, a little bit different. For the price table, we simply aggregate at the date, and then use an average function to calculate the average daily price. For integer table, so we want to keep the date, and also we need to keep the field type. So we have solar. So remember, later we need a pivot, transpose this and make it in different column. So that's why for this step, when we work with group by, so you need to click transform and click a group by. And this time you need to use advanced. So last time we only group by one column, so we can simply use basic. This time we need to group by multiple column. So click advanced. So you have date, and we'll add another group. So we have field type. So similarly here, I have sum. Remember, it's an hourly integer output. So when I want to convert to daily output, so this time I want to use a sum. So that makes sense. That will be the sum of integer output. Right? And for price, make more sense, average price, not the sum of price. The total price really doesn't make sense. So sum MW, and here the operation will use the sum. And the column we do the calculation will be MW. So that is MW energy generated by different field type. So here we can click OK, and we get this one. So before we join this table with a price table, we need one more step. So here we have the date, and we have the field type. We have sum of energy output by each field type on each day. Right? So now, remember, we need to have the field type as a column. Right? So that's what we call in Excel or in SQL, and we call it the pivot. Right? So under transform, and you can see this one feature called the pivot column. So that means they will pivot the column and make it, and so any value in this field and will become new column in this data table. So to pivot any column, so the first one, you need to click the column you are going to pivot. So if you want to pivot the date time, so click this one. If you want to pivot field type, click field type. Right? So then after you click field type, you click a pivot column and click advanced. So then you can see here, so use the name in column field type to create new column. Right? So they already recognize we are going to use the field type to create a new column. But here, the value column is the one they need to do some calculation. So here, so for each, the field type, and we are really interested in the sum energy output. Right? So the value column will be the sum MV, so the sum energy output. And because that is a numerical, and we can simply use a certain operation. So we can use average, we can use sum, so that will be okay. So we are safe to use any of it, either average or sum, because it's already the daily sum. Right? So let's choose sum, and when you click, and you can see, so we have the date, and we have different integer output now on the top as a new column. And here we have the sum integer output for each day by each integer field type. So now here we've just finished this data. Okay. So here let me rename it. So I'm going to call it, so we have the field type table. So now we have two tables available, and now we can simply join those two tables. So remember, to merge the table, and we can simply go back to home and the function combine. And this time, because we are going to join the two tables side by side, and we are going to use merge. So click merge, and by default, any table you select already will be the left table. Right? And then you need to choose the table to join as the right table. So here we have the price table. And now we are going to merge or join two tables, and we need to identify a key. And so they can join two tables based on the common key. So for field type table, we use the data type. Right? And similarly, so you need to click, so that will be select. And for the price table, we need to also select the data type. Right? So when you select the two field, and they know you are going to use those two and to combine two tables. So this is a different type of join. So left join will keep everything on the left and only join the table from right, which have similar common key. Right? And for this assignment, I want to use the inner join. So whichever date and they have the value, I'm going to join together. So preview, they will say you have 731 rows. So that looks like we don't have a missing date. So for 2 years, we have 731 data points. So now we can click OK, and we are going to have the data table available. So when you have the output, you will see you have everything showing on the field type table. But for the price table, so actually you need to expand. Okay? So here, by default, it won't showing up. You can simply expand. So you click OK. And data. So all the data will show here. So we have all the energy output by different field type. And we also have the average daily price. So that will be your data output, and you can simply save or export and as an Excel or CSV file. And you also need to do some calculation. Remember, you probably need to run the value. And it's, for example, certain value is the price. Right? So the price have more than 6 decimal place. So you need to round to maybe 2, as I'm showing on the screenshot. And also, I want you calculate not the actual value. I want you show me the percentage of energy output by the day. So you probably need to calculate the sum, the total energy output, and then use formula to calculate the percentage of each energy output for that day's total output. So I will leave that to you, and I'm pretty sure for that, and it's much easier and simply use Excel and to do the calculation. You don't need to use Power Query to do it. As I said before, so with a different tool available for you to complete the same task and figure out, so user one can solve the problem quick and easy. Right? So don't stick to the one specific rule. Right? So be agile, be flexible, and switch tools all the time. So once you complete all the steps, and don't forget, and you need to click close and load. So all of those steps actually is the query or step will work back end and to process, to transform data. So to have the data output load into Excel, and we need click close and load. And you will figure out that really take time. So that will take probably a couple of minutes format the data. So whichever you think is appropriate, and think about the output is not just something show me as a part of assignment, and think about the output is a data table, and you are going to show your supervisor, right? Or your clients. So you probably need to do some necessary step to format the table, for example, the value if you have multiple decimal place. So it should be round up to maybe 2 decimal place. Right? And for percentage, if we're showing something like I put on the screenshot, it's quite misleading, right? So it's in decimal. And so you know the data, you probably know, for example, 0.50, and you know that means 50%. But your clients may not know, a percentage, is that a 0.5% or 50%? Right? So given the data, you also need to do certain format and make it very clear, showing as percentage. And to calculate the percentage, I said it's much easier just to use Excel, use a formula to calculate rather than and do it in Excel Power Query. Okay, so it's shorter than I expected. So now we have data, and yeah, actually it's still working. So this table is ready. So when I click the field type table, it's not a respond. So it's still, and if you see the small font at the bottom left and showing running background query, so it's still working on it. So this is the final output. You can show here, and with this, and in Excel, I'm pretty sure you all know how to calculate the sum, calculate the percentage, and do necessary format. Okay? So I wanted to show you that process. So as you can see, so we spent almost 40 minutes and talk about how to use Excel Power Query. So I just reserve like 25 minutes for GMP. The reason for that is Excel actually is really popular. So everybody know how to Excel. Every company use Excel. So it's kind of necessary, and you learn something with Excel Power Query. So if you use Excel Power Query, you shouldn't have any problem to complete assignment. But if you are new to Excel Power Query, I highly encourage you to pick up these tools and use this function and to combine data, to import data. So that's quite useful. And especially whenever in any company you go, you join, you probably see people use Excel. So GMP is another tool we can complete this assignment. But if you are really new to GMP, it's not mandatory. You have to learn how to use GMP to import data, combine data from this assignment. The reason for that is GMP is really niche. And if you see the market share of the popular software used by companies, so number one is Power BI, and then Excel, and then Tableau. Right? So other things like Ultras, GMP, RapidMiner, so probably only count like a single digit, 5, 3, some even 1%. So those tools are not very popular. So it will be helpful if you learn and you know how to use it. And later, when you use other tools, and you probably can quickly pick up. For example, if you know how to use Power BI, and then you probably easily pick up Tableau. If you know how to use Ultras, and later when you use Tableau, Tableau Prep Builder, so the data flow software, and you will see very similar interface. So similarly, if you use GMP and later you use SPS, and that can be really easy and similar. Otherwise, if you don't see in future, and you will stick with this software and just use whenever it's necessary. So that's why if you are new to Excel Power Query, new to GMP, and try to complete assignment, use Power Query instead of GMP if you have limited time. But if you are open to learning or pick up those tools, I'm pretty sure it's beneficial for you to get familiar with those tools. And in future, you'll find that's a rewarding experience because that helps you quick, easy pick up other tools. All right, so let me quickly show you how to use GMP to combine one. Okay, so for GMP, first, once we open the GMP window, and we can simply open the data file. Right? So for the sum one, we have 4 data files, and this time you can simply highlight and click open. So without the data file open, and now we kind of need to combine those tables. Right? So we are going to combine first 2 tables. So here we have the table and 2016. So we start with the first challenge table, the field type table. So click the 2016 one, and then so you click on the top tables, and under tables, and you see update. So it's not called merge or append. It's called update or concave. So actually, update is more flexible when you want to select some subsets. So you can use update to simply append the table to another one and use concave. So you click concave, and here, and they are going to see which table you are going to add. So 2016 already here, and now we are going to get the 2017. So I have 2016, 2017. So you can click and to have the preview. I'm pretty sure that works. So click OK, and now we have a new table, and you can see here, name it as concave 2016 and 2017. So next, remember, we need to aggregate data at the daily level. But before that, we need to handle this data. So this one, we wanted to convert to date instead of date time. So what you need can be simply highlight and click. So you can see click, so right button of your mouse. And we have something like a new formula column. And over here, you can see this one, so showing date time. And we can simply select date. So now they create a new column and just showing the date of each data point. Right? Now we have this one, and next step, we are going to group to aggregate. Right? So to do that, actually now we also need to use query. So in GMP, we also have query editor. So when you click table, you can have GMP query builder. So table already select, and we need to click build query. So when you enlarge the table, actually, so when you build a query, you can see this is different function or different column. So you can aggregate and you can group by. Right? So instead of using query step, so actually you can use the GMP query builder and to group by and aggregate the data. So let me show you here. So for example, remember we have the date, right? So that's the name as the date. So I will add that one here. And we have the field type, right? And add a field type. And we have MV, which we want to calculate the total, and we add. And remember, we want to group by the date and the field type. So what you need to do is simply, when you click by, and I don't know why it doesn't work, but if we assign for the MW, and we are going to aggregate user sum, and by default, and GMP will know, so it will be grouped by date and the field type. Right? So we have this one ready, and then so you can see the output is kind of what we want. So then we can simply click run query, and we get this output. And the next step is we want to transport that the field type. Remember, so we have field type need to transport or pivot. So to pivot the field type, and we can simply go to table, click transpose. And in this table, when you want to transpose, actually field type is a label, and transpose column is the sum of the MW integer output. So when you pivot the field type and in transpose, and you need to put the transpose column. So actually that will be the value we are going to transpose. So that will be the integer output, the sum of MW integer output of each field type. And label will be the column label and different field type. And then by will be by date and showing on each data point. So see preview, and that's what we expect. So here we can simply click OK and get this new table. Okay. So with this new table, and later, we can simply join the price table. So this table is ready. We get all the field type as column. We have the date. So let's work on the price table. Okay, 2016 price table concave, and with 17 table, and click OK. And we have the price table combined together, and the date. So click new formula column and click date time and select date. And then next, we are going to aggregate on group file. So with that in mind, we click table and we use the GMP query builder. So click build query, and here we have the date, okay? And we have the injured price. So once you select the aggregation function for injured price, so this time we use average, and by default, and no group by date. So then you need to click run query, and this table is ready. So you can rename it, or I just remember this is named as the SQL query tool. So now I know I can combine with the table we transpose. So here, click table and click join. So join table with the transpose table. So here we have the date, and for the table we transpose, and we also have date. So you can click match. So then the two column, the date will be matched. So look at the preview. So we have the data for each day. We have average price, and we have different field type, and showing daily total outputs. So the data is ready. So then you can simply click OK. So now this table, among all multiple tables, so it's a little bit messy here, but so as long as you remember which table you are working on, so that should be fine. So then this joined table will be your final output. Right? So once you get final output, you can save all the tables for future use. If you just want this table output as an Excel or a CSV file, so click this table and click File, and then click Export. So we are going to export as a CSV or Excel. So either way, okay. So let me just export as a text. So I click Next, and then I will put in my download folder and export. Right? So you see it's here. So later you probably need to import into Excel. Right? So to be safe, and just export another version in Excel. So and make sure you have all the data available. So I will export to Excel. And then you can see you have the data available in Excel. Right? And you can also save as CSV once you complete all the requirement to format the different values and calculate the percentage. So actually, this course we are going to focus on analyze data, but most of the effort will put on to interpret results and really understand the techniques, method we use, and we'll be able to, properly interpret results and communicate results to your audience. So that is our focus. And the tools is just whatever we can use to solve the problem that will be fine. For example, when I introduce next week regression analysis, I'm not going to use GMP again because follow some steps, and we can simply use Excel and do excellent job and to do multiple regression analysis. Right? All right, so if no, I really appreciate and thank you for attending the session and provide feedbacks. Okay? And I'm going to meet you next week on Tuesday. Okay? I will send an announcement before our regular meeting.